是在哪里呢？哦，你们进去里面找那个灵虚穴，最好是这样。来，来，有没有？要整个。会洗多海？帮我看它是不是开始了？
开始了。
安咗。
安咗。哎，我按那个铃就有了哦。有啊，按那个铃就有了。说。
那你就直接切出去现在。可以切去我的那个 page 那边，看得到吗？还有所有的那些字。来看 ，OK。Good morning, everybody. My name is Grace Leong Yu Yin, full name. My TG number, that is my license number, is TG S0027. Yeah, I'm a tourist guide, a licensed tourist guide in Malaysia, because all tourist guide must be licensed in Malaysia, and we have to go through what you call that, a few months courses, and then we have to go through 4 different type of exams before we are licensed to be tourist guides. So that's why in Malaysia, you must have a tourist guide if you really want to go to know more, yeah, about a place or a tourism destination, and especially so in Sabah, because we are talking about culture, history, and nature especially. Yeah. When it comes to nature, you will find that there's a lot of things that the guide really need to know before they will be able to what you call that, to explain to you and give you a very good interpretation. Now today we are now at our Sabah State Museum, yeah, Sabah State Museum, which is located along the Jalan Penampang in Kota Kinabalu, yeah, Sabah. A lot of people will think that if you go to a place that museum might not be that interesting, a place to visit, but I am going to change that opinion because when you come to Sabah, our museum is really different. Yeah, because over here you will find that, like I mentioned to you, a tourist guide will need to know about culture, history, and nature. So today I'm going to bring you inside this main building, the Sabah State Museum, and show you what I meant by they must know all the 3 things, or else you will find that you will not be able to have a very good tour. What we are going to look at right now, as you can see, I'm standing in front of a skeleton. Yeah, this is definitely not a dinosaur. A lot of people thought that, wow, is it a dinosaur? It is so big. No, it is, in fact, it is what we call it is a Brutus, yeah. They actually not pronounced as right, but it's Brutus whale. Now this whale was actually because what happened, why is it here now, the skeleton? It was because in the year 2006, it actually went into our coastal area, and despite our fishery department and all kinds of help was trying to help it to survive, to push it out to the open sea, it was really unsuccessful, so it died. So that's the reason why the museum later on, they brought its skeleton over here for show, to display for others to see. Actually, Brutus is also under the IUCN list. It is actually also supposed to be protected. Now this particular one that you are looking at now, it actually weighed, the length of it was 20.6 meters long. You can imagine that, right? 20.6 meters long, and it weighs about 20 tons. Now, Brutus whale, normally they feed on plankton streams and so forth, yeah? And they can feed a lot. They rarely eat a lot. Or else you won't see that it is so big. How can it be that they are? It can be that big, yeah? Because they really eat a lot, yeah? It is actually this particular one here. It is in the Malaysia Guinness Book of Record that it is actually the longest and the biggest Brutus whale that is in Malaysia that is found. Yeah, so it was actually supposed to be listed. Now, apart from that, what we are going to do now is that I'm going to bring you to look more at the culture first. Yeah, more at the culture. And then we will, from there, from culture, we will move on to see our natural history before we will come to the history gallery. Yeah, so follow me and I'm going to tell you as much as I can. Come. Now, we are at a very interesting section now, yeah, of the museum. Let me just give you a background first, yeah, of the, what you call it, the people, the nature, the ethnic people that we have here in Sabah. Now, we have about 42 major ethnic groups and what we call the 200 over sub-ethnic and 80 over different languages and dialects, which is actually really a lot. Sorry, because I already feel very uncomfortable when I do commentary with my mask on, but we have, because it is in the museum area, it is not in the open air, so it is best that I have this on, yeah. Okay. You have, when you talk about our ethnic group, in the largest ethnic group that we have are called the Kadazan Dusun people. You'll find that the name is really long, Kadazan Dusun. In fact, originally, this type of people, they were known as the Dusun, yeah, Dusun people. That is 1,000 over years ago. 5,000 years ago at least, yeah, they will say to have come down, migrated from the southern Mongolia area, then to Taiwan, Philippines, and ended up here. There is actually yet another belief that they actually migrated from downward, going up and then come down again. So it means to say before 5,000 years ago, they were elsewhere. Now, I'm not going to touch on that, but let's say that they actually came down 5,000 over years to Taiwan, and then down to Philippines and over here, all the way coming down. That's the reason why that you'll find that some of the Dusun people, they are very similar to those tribal tribes that are in Taiwan, like the Alisan, we call it the Amei tribe. They actually share very similarities in their dialects, yeah, in their dialects and language, and likewise in Philippines as well, yeah. But when they came over here, they were known as Dusun. Basically, it's the people who they live beyond in the orchard, yeah. So that's the meaning. But then later on, because of the modernization, we have people who wanted to change their leaders, yeah, wanted to change their image, yeah, that is given to people. So they call themselves Kadazan. So in fact, they are the same people. And in order not to confuse, because there are some people like to be called Kadazan, some like to be called Dusun. So it has caused quite a bit of a confusion. People say, are they Kadazan or Dusun? So what happened is that officially, they were actually now listed as Kadazan Dusun. So they actually joined the two words together. Now, these people, when they first came down here, yeah, originally, these people, they are very much what we call that animistic. Yeah, when you say animistic, because they do not really have any religion, but they believe there are gods everywhere. Yeah, they even trees will have God. Yeah, and then they will have even rocks will have gods, and all kinds of things will have gods. Yeah, and they actually will worship all this. Yeah, and at the same time also, you will find that they will sacrifice things to the evil spirit rather to the good gods. The reason is very simple, because the good gods will not harm them, whereas the evil spirit will harm them. So when they sacrifice to this evil spirit, they are actually telling them, we are sacrificing to you, please do not harm us. So that is quite odd in a sense. And that's the reason why in these olden days, the Kadazan Dusun people have what they call it the witch doctors in English. Yeah. In fact, in their words, they call it Bobolians or Bobohizan. Yeah, it's like priest and priestess. And this priest and priestess is somebody that they would go and look for if they want to have any ceremonial, or they want to have any sacrifices, or even to heal sicknesses. Yeah, these are the people they will look for. Now, these people, when they first came here, because they do not have any religion, and they have villages, yeah, and they are more like these tribal people. They live in forests and so forth, yeah, and they also plant paddy, and they plant fruit trees and so on. So that's the reason why they also try to protect their own village. They will protect their own village, and they have their own warriors. When we talk about warriors, those are the ones that is very fierce warriors and who are very strong fighters. And because of that, these strong warriors are the one, right? Apart from what you call that they protect their village, they will also invade another enemy village. Yeah, and when they do that in those olden days, a few hundred years ago, yeah, or 1,000 years ago, they will, once the enemy died when they fight, they will actually execute, like chop off their head and bring it back as a trophy. Those were the headhunting days. Yeah, so it's not just the Kadazan Dusun who actually practice headhunting. There are also Muruts, the other tribe, which is the third largest group in Sabah, that actually they were practicing headhunting long time ago. So what I'm going to show you right now, what are these priests, what kind of things that they will use to sacrifice, and to show you some real skulls. So do not be afraid, yeah, because I will be bringing you. So we're going to go in right now. Come on. See, inside this display, you will see those are the instruments and things that will be used by the priest or priestess, yeah, when they do sacrifice or they do rituals. Yeah, you'll be amazed that on the left-hand side, they even have what we call that the nipa palm leaf, that dry nipa palm leaf. What do they use that for? It's actually for them to roll tobacco in it, and also they have what we call the betel nuts. Yeah, the betel nuts as well. And right now, let me show you. Dang, dang, dang. Don't be afraid. Right behind me right now. Right behind me right now, on top on the ceiling, those are the real skulls. Yeah, that was long time ago because the museum managed to get some of this from those people who have this in their what you call that from their homes and so forth. Now, because you can see this 1,000 years ago, or even a few hundred years ago, this practice were ongoing, and normally when they brought the skulls back, the priests and priestesses will do rituals before these skulls are allowed to brought back into their village. And when they do those rituals, they are actually capturing the spirit. Yeah, capturing the spirit of the person, of the the owner of the skull. Yeah, so it will capture that spirit, and then the skull will be hanged on the ceiling in their house. Yeah, and sometimes it is it is in fact they will also hang it in places we call it sulap. That is where they have a paddy field, small little hut. They will also hang it on top. So that spirit, the spirit of the skull will in fact protect the family, protect the village, and protect their livelihood, the things they produce, you know, what they have, the paddy and so forth. So that is what the priest or priestess, we call it the Bobulian or Bobuhisan, they will actually capture that. So this spirit will listen to them. So that's the reason why they will have the skull. Now for every man, yeah, man in the village, as the child, if it is a male, when they grow up to an adult age, if he wants to get married, he better make sure that he wants to show that he is really very, very strong. Yeah, then he will be able to what you call that? Be able to find a girl to marry. So it is not that easy, isn't it? But it is interesting that they have that culture. Now, when did this actually end? It was when during the time of the British North Borneo Chartered Company era. Headhunting was stopped by them because they have the civil court, and they actually what you call that, eliminate this kind of headhunting. That's the reason why too a lot of our ethnic groups, yeah, like especially the Morots, they dislike the British, yeah, because those were the things that they treasure, but it was removed from them, yeah. If you want to see also a lot of this kind of skulls, you might want to go to a place that's called the Monsopiat Cultural Village, where you will see one of their Monsopiat Cultural Village is the place where they have what you call it, a very strong warrior, yeah, who in fact have throughout his life he has got about 42 over scars and 1 leg bone. Yeah, so you should go and have a look as well, yeah? Come, let's go further. Now, if you look over here now on top, you will see the skulls, yeah, that is hanging on like tree, yeah? This type of tree is, they're actually called the bayan tree. Now, do not forget that normally when they go headhunting or they want to raid another village, it will be very far away from their own village, yeah? So after they have, when they are on the way back, yeah, they will actually just, they will put this, what you call that, the scars on top of this type of tree. And they are what you call that, the priest or priestess, the Bobulian or Bobuhisan, they will also need to, if it is nearby or when they come to nearby to the village, they will have to come over to do a ritual as well. Yeah, so that's why you will find that even Chinese, not to say they are people, even a lot of our Chinese who are quite, you can say, superstitious, we do not like bayan tree. Yeah, this type of tree to us it is like a taboo. All right, they believe there are spirits in it. Okay, now we are moving into the Murut. Just now that one was the Kadazan Dusun, headhunting. Yeah, so this is the Murut. Now Muruts, they are very fierce. Yeah, they are very fierce. That's why they are the infamous, we call it, the headhunters of North Borneo. Sabah was known as North Borneo before. Yeah, so they are called the headhunters. Yeah. Normally people do not refer the Kadazan Dusun as the headhunters. They will talk, when they say headhunters, they will straight away think of the Muruts. The Muruts are the ones who are really fierce, and they are found more towards in the interior of Sabah, like Pensiangan, Tenom, yeah, all these places, and Geningau. Yeah, these are the people. They are not very tall, but they are really fierce. So they even have a leader who was called the Ontarius Antonym. So during the British, like I told you, because to them headhunting is their part of life. If they want to get married, they must have a skull to prove their manhood. So when the British actually stopped this kind of practice, they were very, very, very angry. Plus many other things like taxes and so forth. And they say that if you have 2 males in the family, one of them will have to be, yeah, to go to do labor for the British. So these are the things that caused them to be very angry with the British. And they even have a rebellion, yeah, against the British. So about 1,000 over of them actually died. So it is very sad thing, yeah, during those days. That's why that's the reason why a lot of the Moors in those days, they really do not like outside influence, yeah. And this, if you look at this picture, it will be, it's a very amazing picture. I always find that this guy is really amazing. This young, he's considered very young, you know. He's a headhunter, right? And what happened was that he actually raided the Dayak people, which were from the Sarawak, because we are at the border with Sarawak. The Sarawak Dayak people came over to their village and took away their skull. So he was very angry. Yeah? So they actually went after them and took back the skull. It's really amazing. And then you will look at this. If you look at this display here, these are the kind of a sword that they will use. Yeah, they use for fighting. Yeah, and their hair tied at the back of the sheath. These are the hair, not the hair of the headhunter. It is the hair of the victim. When they kill somebody, they will actually take a few of their hair and tie it at the back. So you see, the more it is, it means to say the more he has actually killed. Yeah. And you will find that what kind of, apart from the sword, what other instrument, what other weapon do they use? This is their blowpipe. Yeah, their blowpipe. So that's why you'll find that blowpipe, they actually use very tropical hardwood like billion. And it will take them months for them, because when a child is of age, he will have to make his own blowpipe. Yeah, so they will have to really use, it's very tedious to make this. Can you imagine? Because it's a brilliant hardwood, it is so difficult to make it until like this. It is not easy, and to drill a hole inside. And then at the end, they will have the spear. So this is a silent weapon. I always call it a silent weapon. Come, let's move on. I think this section is a little bit dark, but let me just tell you that some of the musical instruments that we have. Music is everywhere in the whole world. Everybody loves music, I would say. Yeah. I think about 99.9% people will love music. Yeah. But the 0.01%, I do not know who is that. But for me, I love music. And likewise, our natives, yeah, our ethnic groups. And you will find that they have. They used to have instrument that comes from elsewhere, like Brunei. Like this kind of, we call it kuling tangan. Yeah, they can be 7, 8, or 9 pieces, and they make different sounds. Yeah, and they used to make of bronze, but later on now they use metal because bronze is very expensive. If that is not good enough, because they even make their own. Like for example, we call this as a sombotong on top here. Yeah, whereby they use bamboo. Yeah, bamboo, and they use what you call it, a gourd. Yeah. So to make it hollow, and they will stick the bamboo inside with beeswax. Yeah, and then 2 or 3 of it is actually hollow, and then they can make sound through it. It's called the sombotong. Yeah, and of course this one now they also make it as well. The gong. The gong is very, very important to them. It used to come in from brought in by the Chinese people. Yeah, when they do what you call it. Trading with the people here. So they used to be bronze as well. Now it's metal. We do have, because our government has what we call it, one district, one trade. Yeah. So they have it. You will find that some of the places you will find, especially in our interior, our government implement this in the villages. So there's one district there that actually the whole, you will find that you go to the village, everybody make this kind of kuling tangan, and they make the gongs. Yeah, so you will find that it's everybody doing that. And then another village, they will be all breeding what you call it. They have they will actually have bees. Yeah, they cultivate bees and then to have the honey. So that's why everywhere is different. Yeah, so that's how they actually encourage our villagers. Yeah. Apart from that, this is made by them. There's another one. Let me show you. Yeah, these are made of bamboo. Yeah, bamboo, and then there's one particular one that is called a turari. Turari is actually a nose flute. You'll be very surprised that they can actually use the nose to produce music through a machine, through a bamboo like that. It is really, really interesting. Yeah, because this particular one is there is a legend, and there are many different versions of it. And one of the versions was that there was one family, yeah, three in one, you can say, husband and wife with a kid. So they actually moved out from their original village because they wanted to, because that village they are too crowded, and they wanted to find another place where they can have more to themselves. So they moved out. But then when they were not very far away. But one day the father died, and after the father died, the mother also went very sick, and remaining the child and actually we left behind the child, and the child was very, very sad because the mother actually told him, when I leave, don't cry. You are a man already, so do not cry. Go back to the village where we came from, yeah, and then you can you can dwell among them. Do not cry. So because what the mother says, he was so sad, he wanted to relieve his sorrow. So what he did was that he made a bamboo flute, and he began to use his nose to blow into it to make sound, and it was very sorrowful. Yeah, and in the middle of the night, you can imagine when the sound, because it's very quiet, the sound carries through the air, and it reaches the other village, the original village, and they heard that sound. It was so sorrowful. So they went and looked in search of where the sound comes from, and they found the child. So from then onwards, you find that whenever there is a ceremony of a funeral or somebody passed away, this is the music, this is the instrument that they will use, yeah, for that particular ceremony, yeah. So many things that I want to show with you, but I don't have much time. Come, let's go further to let you see what else we have. Now I would say that everyone in their life, they will have a hat. I don't know whether you like hats or not. I love hats. I have a lot of hats. Demerit, Nike, Adidas, whatever. I have all kinds of hats and I love them. Yeah. But you will find that I also have hats that will go, if I were to go overseas and I need to attend some function or whatever that I need to wear a hat, I have a very nice hat as well. So likewise, our villagers, our natives, they love hats. Yeah. And it's practical hats actually. Yeah. You will find that some of the hats have very meaningful. I'm not going to go into details, but I will show you some of it. Yeah. For example, this type of hat is where you will see the we call the Kota Kinabalu people will be wearing this, and they have what you call it. It's a bit colorful. Yeah. And then we have another one which I wanted to show you. It is right down here. These are the cards that were from the Papa, yeah, from the Kadazan, Kadazan Dusun tribe, the people in Papa. Now, a lot of people will say they have different way of wearing their hats. Now, how is it so distinguished? It's because of what they put on top. Now, but what they put on top is very interesting because the flowers and the feathers on top will actually represent whether the person who is wearing it is married or unmarried. Because male doesn't wear this hat, it is female. So when you see someone wearing, when someone that is wearing this, with a flower on top like this one, it actually means that that lady is already married. So please, if you were to see somebody really in the traditional way that they are wearing this, working in the paddy fields, and they have that on top with flowers, it means to say he is already married. So you have to be very careful. You don't go and give a bride price to want to get married to that lady. Yeah. So that's how the male of the Dusun people in the Papa area, that's how they see whether the lady is married or not. But if you see there's nothing on top, yeah, no flowers, no feathers, it means to say it's actually already a grandmother or a widow. But if you see just only feathers, yeah, it means to say that girl is still unmarried. And you can go and give your bride price. Yeah, so that's how they actually differentiate. And this one is from the Murut people in Tanam. Yeah, a lot of people will say, hey, how does Murut wear this kind of hats? Yeah, if you see this kind of hats and they have feathers like this, it's like very merry. It's because they are attending what you call that, maybe a very wedding and so forth, or they are having a very happy ceremony. So that's why they will wear this type of hat. But if you see the August pheasant feathers on top that is very tall, it means to say that one is a headhunter and he is a warrior. So that is the difference. Yeah. Even baskets has a lot of stories behind it. I will just point out a couple of baskets for you to see. So many baskets because they use it for so many different kind of uses. Like for example, this one is for, this particular one is used by the Murut for them to carry firewood, yeah, wood for burning at home. And this one as well, yeah, is for carrying the all kinds of things, firewood and even agricultural products. Yeah, and you will see they have motifs on it. Like the Murut people, they are very good in, if you see this kind of motif, yeah, the design like this kind, it is actually by the Murut. We have another very special basket. You will be surprised, what is this for? Yeah, this is actually used in the Komandong cave, or even at the where is the other cave already? Yeah, in Lahatatu. Yeah, the Idahan actually use this kind of the Madai caves. Yes, the Idahan tribe, they actually use this when they go into their caves, the Madai caves, yeah, because they have the you can say ancestral rights to go and what you call that, to collect the bird's nest. So they use this kind of baskets, yeah, to collect, traditionally to collect the what you call that, to collect the bird's nest. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. We don't have much time, come on. Yeah, we have, I mentioned to you that we have 42 overman ethnic groups. Just now we have looked at the Kadazan Dusun, and you know about the Moruts as well. Let me just introduce to you, this is our second largest group of natives called the Bajaus. Yeah, Bajaus, they were 500 over years ago. Originally, they were from the southern part of Philippines. Yeah, southern part of Philippines. And they migrated here mainly because they were fishermen. Yeah, they actually depend on the sea. Yeah, on the sea for their livelihood. So whenever they came across anything like what you call that, like typhoon, they wanted to look for a place for shelter. That's the reason why they came to North Borneo, because this is the place. They gave a very nice name to us, that is the land below the wind. So they were the one who gave us this nickname, because there's no typhoon here and we were below the wind, so we are only affected by the tail of the typhoon. So they decided to stay here later on, and they found that this is such a good place. They also give another name that's called Desuka. It means resting place. So they decided to live here, and they begin to construct their houses that is above the water, where they can leave their boats at the bottom. Now, why, if you say they are fishermen, why are they like this, right? On a horse? Yeah, because some of them decided to move inland and they become farmers. Yeah, they become farmers. They were paddy farmers, and they do a lot of agricultural products. Plus, when the British came over here, they brought over horses, small horses from the Philippines. So when they brought over here, they were looking for people who can be jockeys, and they found out that the Bajaus are very good. Yeah, they can train them to be jockeys, and they were very good in it. So that's why they are very good horsemen. Yeah, and because of that, right, they were also given a nickname that is the Cowboy of the East. And every year during the month of end of October, you will find that we have a very big market at the place that is called Kota Kinabalu. You can actually see these horsemen as well, dress up like that. And normally, if they want to get married as well, in the olden days, they will also dress like this, and they will send a troop of these horsemen to the bridegroom house to escort the bridegroom to the bride house. It's a very interesting sight. Yeah, come. And these are the Dindal Dusun. Yeah, the Dindal Dusun at the what we call the Dindal Dusun at Kota Kinabalu. Yeah, and if by looking at how they are dressed like, yeah, you will find that it's very amazing. Yeah, the costume. For example, the container, the silver container on the around the neck there. Yeah, these are actually used to put tobacco. Yeah. And also they can put a pinang, you know, and all these things inside. So it's quite heavy. And normally you will find that the female, she will have the chain, yeah, coin chain around her waist. If you were to look at the coin chain around the waist, yeah, it also represents their status. If you see, actually, if you were to see 3 chains on the lady, it means to say that she is still unmarried, single. If you have 2, it means to say she is married. And if you have 1, she is either a widow or a grandmother. So you see we have so many different tribes, and all of them have different ways of identifying their status and so forth. We will have to move on. Come. And this is what we call the gang piece, yeah, gang piece, which is very much worn by the Rungus people, yeah, but they are, in fact, because by thread, it's not made by them. It is actually weave and what we call that, is done by the Bajaus, yeah, and it is in fact what we call that, they have exchange, yeah. Come. That's the one I wanted to especially show you. This guy here on top of their hat, you see that is different from the Mary. Yeah. On top there, the feathers at the back, the long one, that's the Argus prison feather. Yeah. This is short. By right, it will be very, very long. I will show you how an Argus prison looks like. I wanted to show you right now on the antiques that we see here. Chinese traded with the, if you would have heard of the voyages of Admiral Cheng Ho, And even way before that, yeah, we have these people who, these Chinese who came down here to trade with the people here, whereby they will go through, they also went to Vietnam, they went to Thailand, and then they came down all the way here. And of course, they also go past by Brunei. So that's why that you have, we have a lot of these, what do you call it, antiques that are from Europe. They are also from the Qing dynasty, the Yuan dynasty, yeah, the Ming dynasty. So they were all throughout those days, you know. And for the natives here, they treated all these antiques like gold, you can say. Yeah, because they don't have this and they do not know how to make this. So they have a lot of uses for these things. Now some of the things that I wanted to show you is especially jars. Yeah, these huge jars, as you can see inside the display here. Now these jars were brought down by the Chinese, and the Kedazan Duzun, Murus, they treat all these jars really like priceless. So today, if you were to get one of it, you will find that a lot of those traditional houses, they will have one or two of these kind of jars at home. Yeah, and they treat that really like priceless. But the jars in those days when they were brought in by the Chinese, the local people here, since they do not know how to make use of it, they will also use it for different types of things. One of it, it will be shocking to you that they actually use it as a burial jars. They actually put the whole body, you will find that the jars, the opening is bigger, they will put the whole body inside. Yeah, they put the body inside as like a burial. Yeah, so they will see that there are actually bones that was taken out. So these jars were used before. In fact, normally what they will do that they even have a saying that they actually even reuse the jar, yeah, for another burial next time. So when they are already bones already, they will take out the bones from the bigger one, put it in smaller one, and the bigger one they will reuse again for another body. So what are other jars are used for? You will find over here, yes. These are different storage jars. Storage jars mean to say they can put rice. And then I have one friend who told me that their family actually will use these jars to put ikan bilis, which are the anchovies, yeah, and they will use it for storing, yeah. So storing things, yeah. So it is very important to them, and they will also use it for putting water, yeah, water. And we also have jars that are made. They actually use it to put their rice wine, yeah, which is a traditional rice wine, yeah, that we have. We call it tapai or lihing, yeah. They will put it inside the jar. For your information, a person, a lady who is making the rice wine, she has to be in a merry mood. Merry mood, it means to say happy. She cannot be very sad. If she is a sad person, she is not allowed to make the rice wine, because then the wine will actually taste bitter and it's not nice. So they even have this kind of a taboo, we call it. And then they also have what we call it the bride price. Yeah, bride price jars are the one that when a person get married, yeah, when they got married, before they get married, they will the bridegroom will have to negotiate with the father-in-law and their family to see how much they need to give the bride price. Then when the price is agreed upon, and that will also include jars like this, and the jars will inside, they will have rice wine, and they will also have clothing and so forth for the lady, for the bride. So once that is already done, they will the father-in-law might tell you, I want 2 or 3 of these jars with the rice wine. So you have to prepare that, and then you will have to send this over, yeah, to the bride, to the bride's house. So then only you can get married. On the other hand, if it is the Muruts, that is the 3rd largest group of natives, if you want to get married, then you have to think twice. If the bride's family is still staying in the interior, traditionally they might ask you to give things that you will find it impossible. But you can still negotiate, of course, yeah. Because what happened is that they have a traditional saying that if you want to get married in the moderate way, you will have to give your bride price until the day you die. Every year, your father-in-law will come and get more bride price from you. So the amount that you agreed at the beginning, you can actually give by installment. Yeah, so it's very interesting because there's so much to know about what they actually do with the jars. Yeah, come on. And these are called ritual jars. Ritual jars are different in the sense that you will see outside they have stands. Yeah, they have stands on the jar. Now, I have at the beginning also I have told you that they have the priest and priestess, the Bobohizan and Bobolian. They will know that they will tell you that these kind of jars are actually ritual jars, and they believe there are spirits in it. Yeah, they will use white feather chicken. Yeah, they will sacrifice that. Yeah, and cleanse that using the blood of the chicken to cleanse the jar, and they will worship it. So you can imagine, because they actually believe that these jars got spirit in it. Yeah, so they call it the ritual jars. Now we will move on now to the natural history. As we are running out of time, I wanted to tell you as much as possible. Come on. So you can see how big that the Brutus bell looks like from up here. Now, welcome to the natural history. When we talk about natural history, today, the other thing we have went to see the plants, yeah, the plantae kingdom. Now, now we are talking about the Animalia kingdom, which is natural history, part of natural history as well. Now, I will not be able to tell you everything here. In fact, what you need to do is that after our session here, I'm sure it will arouse your curiosity to come and visit the museum. Please do come and visit this place and slowly explore. Yeah, because I will give you a gist, you can say, what it is like. Now, for example, yeah, so I will just only highlight a few animals to you. For example, right here, what you're looking at now in the display, that is called a pygmy elephant. Yeah, we call it pygmy. Why? It is that small? No, this is a baby. Okay, even for a grown elephant, it will not be that small. It will be like the picture that is on top there. Yeah, so it will be something like that. Okay, so what you're looking at, this one is a small one, is a baby. But it is still smaller than the Asian elephants that you will see in Thailand and so forth. Yeah, it is still much smaller. That's why it is known as the pygmy elephant. And it is very surprising that in Borneo, if you want to see elephant, it is here in North Borneo, in Sabah. Yeah, elsewhere you can't see them. It is very odd. So nobody really know where these tribes, where this kind of elephants come from. And where do you see them? In the west coast here, I'm sorry, you would not be able to find this elephant. You will have to go to the east coast of Sabah, even from, you're talking about in Dolopit, and all the way to Sandakan, and then you will see the Kinabalu, Sukau area. All these places you will find elephants. Yeah, but on the west coast here, we have yet to see one. Unless you go to our wildlife park, Lokawi Wildlife Park, then you will see this pygmy elephant. Yeah. Do you know that? Let me just share something with you. Is that? Do you know that if an elephant come up from behind you, you will know it. It is so big. Yet if you were to come, if you are standing there and they come out from behind you, you won't know it. It is so dangerous. Why is that so? Because elephants on their heels, yeah, it is like they have a kind of a sponge. Yeah, it's very thick, and then when they go, there's no sound. Yeah, so you got to be very careful. Yeah, so if you are in the jungle, you have to be very careful. That's why I say that you need a guide. They will be able to tell you. Yeah, and normally they say that if you were in the jungle, let's say you really come across an elephant and it was very agitated, do not know what was that, and they were coming straight at you. Do you know what you should do in the jungle? Though it is quite difficult, but you might need to do that. Is that you have to run zigzag, because the elephant will go straight. Come, let's go. Birds. There are 800 over different species of birds in Malaysia, 800 over. And then in Borneo, there are about 600 over. But in Sabah alone, right, Sabah alone, it was estimated to have 500 over species of birds. It is really that many we do not know, yeah, because there are still a lot. You will find that we have some very special guides. Let me share with you. Actually, we have quite a number of our tourist guides, licensed tourist guides, who are very specialized in birds. When they come to birding, they know a lot of birds. Yeah. So if you really want to know more, where to find certain birds and where to go, it is best that you really get in touch with this bird guide. Call our association or email our association. Yeah, we will be able to tell you and introduce to you who are these birding guides, so that they will be able to tell you more. Yeah, where to go and find this kind of birds, and they can explain to you, yeah, each of the birds and so forth. For me, I am very sorry, I am not a bird guy. I told you right at the beginning in the other episode, I'm actually very more towards a general guide. So I know a little bit of everything, but I'm not a specialist, except for my heritage walk. Come on. Before I show you the other birds as well, let me show you this. What is this? It's a clouded leopard. Why is it called a clouded leopard? It is actually, you will find that, you know, the spots on the leopard. That spots is it's like clouds. That's why it's called clouded leopard. Now the clouded leopard is under the IUCN list, red list. They estimated now there are less than 1,000 of them. Yeah, so it is very critically endangered. I find that because this leopard, I find it very amazing when I learned that they are very good in climbing trees. And do you know, can you climb a tree backward? You can't, right? They can. Can you imagine that, climbing a tree backwards? And then he can come down, it can come down headlong. I mean, the head facing down and come down like that. I am sure you can't do that, but he can, and at a very fast speed. Yeah, because he's actually, you can say, it eats all kinds of things, animals, monkeys, or squirrels, whatever he can find. Yeah? And he can hide himself and use his hind leg to hang himself on branches. Yeah, and then suddenly you will find that zoom, it will come down. It's really fast, at a very fast speed. So be very careful. But anyway, even if you are in the jungle, you met one or so, you will know. Unless you are really expert in it. Let me show you another very interesting animal. Look, our sun bear. It is one of the smallest. Do you know the Sabah is amazing? It has a nickname, it seems like. We always have things that are the smallest. It is the smallest bear in the world. Yeah. In fact, sun bear doesn't eat human. It has not really go and attack any other animals. Yeah, it is more of omnivorous. Yeah, it eats all kinds of, especially honey. It loves. That's why we call it a honey bear. Huh? Do you know that the tongue can be up to about 20 centimeters long? The tongue. You will find when it come out, when the tongue come out, you will find that wow. Huh? But why is that so long? It's so that it can actually reach into the beehives inside trees and also right on top of the branches. So it can go inside using its tongue. So it is amazing. And the claws, wow, you won't want the claws, yeah? Because the claw is so strong, it can actually tear branches, tear the bark, tree barks of the tree. Why does it do that? Because it want to look for ants, yeah, ants and termites and things inside. So it is a very good controller of termites in the forest. Yeah, so it will actually tear off the bark. But because of that, you see, nature has it that it is actually like what you call that, it has a cycle, yeah. What it does, it might find that you say that is destructive when we go and tear off the tree bark. No, it is not. First of all, it actually controls the ants and also the termites. And also, it helps other animals. What animals? Like for example, our flying fox. Our flying foxes or the giant flying squirrel, plus also the hornbill. Yeah, they actually use that hollow that is caused by this sun bear. Yeah, they use that as a nest. So you see that is a cycle. What is you think is destructive, but actually in the nature, it is helpful for the others. Yeah, and then how to distinguish our sun bear is that it has a mark. I don't know whether you can take that. Yeah, it has a mark on the chest. It's like a rising sun or setting sun. That's the reason why they gave the name sun bear. Yeah? So every mark on the bear is different. Every bear has a different marking. Yeah, because the shape will be slightly different. It never be the same. It's just like our fingerprint is different. Yeah? Talking about, there you are, the birds. We were talking about the sun bear, that it actually when it helped to what you call that, tear off the tree bark. Yeah, when it tear off the tree bark, it helps what? Birds like this to make nests inside. Yeah. So inside the hollow, and this one you are looking at, this one is a rhinoceros hornbill. There are 8 different types of hornbill, and we have it all here, yeah, in Sabah itself, yeah. Now, talking about the hornbill, now I was just now I told you that the Murut warrior, on the head they have a feather of an Argus prison. Now, which one is the Argus prison? It's the one that is right at the back. You see the feather, how long is it? Yeah, so that's the one, the Argus prison. Yeah, so when it actually wanted to attract the female, it will actually display itself. Yeah, the one that is next to it is the female. You will be surprised. Yeah, in human, you will find that the ladies will try to make themselves beautiful so that the male, the opposite, will notice them. But in the animal world, it's a little bit different. Yeah, the male will try to be very attractive for the female to notice them. Yeah. So come on, we are really rushing of time. I think I'm very long-winded. Yeah. Now let me show you another interesting animal, and that is of course the orangutan that is on top. Yeah, on top there. Orangutan. For those of you who know Bahasa Malaysia, definitely you will know that it actually means the man of the forest. Yeah, they have the second to the chimpanzee. You can say they're the second closest DNA to the it's 97%, 97% closest to DNA to human. Yeah, so you will find that the orangutan they are now very much less. Record says that they are about less than 12,000, and there are some actually say they are less than 5,000. Yeah, so they are solitary because normally you will find that the husband and wife together, right? Normally they don't. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they do not stay together. But you will find that orangutan are amazing. Yeah, the features, everything are very closely related to human. I would not and I do not believe that they are our ancestor. No, I don't believe that. Okay, now but they are unique on its own, and you will find that the orangutan normally they would have what we call that they can live up to maybe even 30, 40 years old. Yeah, some of them they say that it can even be up to 50. That would be very, very, very old. Yeah, but you will find that the orangutan are very strong. They have very strong limbs, yeah? Especially their arms. That's why they can swing from one to another place very, very fast. It can swing to another area. And then they will build a nest every day. During the daytime, they will build a nest on top of the tree, yeah? And then they will use that for sleeping at night. And then the next day, they will build another one elsewhere. Why? To avoid enemy. They move around. And the baby will learn from the mother to do that as well. Do you know what orangutan love to eat? Of course, it says banana. Definitely. There's one type of fruit that they love to eat. You will boggle your mind. Yeah, you will say, what? They really like to eat that? And that is durian. Surprising? They love durians. Yeah. So if it's during durian season, or even other kind of fruits like fixed fruits like tara and so forth, you will find that they will be much more in the jungle. They will not want to come out closer to the mainland and so forth. Yeah, especially if you go to Sabah, the Orangutan Rehabilitation Center, you will see that they are the one that during those time you will see less of them coming out for the feeding time. Yeah, because they have a lot of fruits to eat. Especially if it's durian, they will love it. Now, talking about this type of animals, I want to show you two more. We're really running out of time. We have two more that I want to show you here. That is actually the nocturnal animal. Yeah, one is that this particular one. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Yeah, do you know what is that? That is called a tarsier. Now, why is it called tarsier? If you look at his hind leg, the ankle, you see the ankle there? Yeah, it's extended and elongated, and that is called a tarsus. That's how they got the name tarsier. Yeah. Now, this is a nocturnal animal. It is unique in the sense that I always call it. It seems to represent 5 other types of animal because the eyes looks like the owl, the ear looks like the bat, the body shape is like a monkey, and then they have a tail that looks like it looks like a rat, and the legs and the front legs there, the hind leg and the front, you will find that the toes here, it looks like frogs. So it seems to represent many others. And how small can it be? It actually doesn't grow more than half, you can say only about 6 inch. 6 inch, it means the size is about that. Right? Normally that's the size. Now, this is the nocturnal animal. And it's very unique in the sense that there's one type of, do you remember that I thought of we have the headhunters, the muruts? The fearless warrior, they can chop off another, what you call the enemy's head. Do you know that such a fearless warrior, they are afraid of the tarsier? Amazing, right? Why are they afraid of such a small little animal? Because if they were to go out at night to do hunting or to go and raid another village, if they saw this, right, in the forest, they will go back. They will not want to continue their journey. The reason is that this tarsier, the eyes is very unique. Yeah, The eyes is in the socket that it does not, what you call that, the, what should I call that? Yeah, the eyes actually, the socket does not move, not like human, yeah? Not like human whereby we can actually close our eyelid and so forth. The tarsier does not close the eyelid. It have an eye of whereby if it is, if they have very bright light, you will see that the pupil will become very tiny. But the minute it is at night, there's no light, the pupil will become big. The socket does not move at all. So how does it see to the left and right? That is the way it goes. The head will go, let's say this is the tarsiers, the head, it will go like this. We call it 180 degrees to the left, or the head can turn 180 degrees to the right. So that's why it's like, you know, at night, you know, you met something like that, it looks like a ghost, right? The head goes like that. So that's the reason why the Murut, when they saw something like that, they will go back. Because they are going for head hunting, and the head turns like that, you know. It's like a ghost, so they will, it's a taboo to them. They will go back. It's 180 degrees and not 360, or else the head will go off already. Yeah. Another little thing I like to show you is this. This is what? It is called a slow loris. Now, the name is literally slow. Yeah, we call it the Gayang River slow loris over here. There are quite a few species around the world, but this one is unique to us as well. Very slow. I would just want to say something. Please do not go to the jungle. Capture one, because it's a nocturnal, right? Nocturnal animal. Do not go to the jungle. You go and capture one and bring it back as a pet. You are asking for trouble. Why do I say that? Because this little thing is one of the mammals that you'll find it amazing is that it is poisonous. Normally, mammals don't have poison on themselves. This one has. Those that is in the wild, because they feed on things that is very unlikely. For example, they feed on scorpion, yeah, and they also feed on other things that is poisonous. And the poison that they have, you know where they store it? It will go to the glands, the sweat glands underneath the armpit, right? And if you see in the jungle, if it is threatened, you might see that it will go like this. Wow, so cute, huh? Then the next thing, if you see the little slow loris go and lick the armpit, you better run. Yeah, because when the minute it lick using its tongue, because the tongue got the saliva. When the saliva mixed with the what you call that, the serum that comes out from the armpit, it becomes poison. So when you try to catch hold of it and he bites you, bye-bye. That is poisonous, yeah? So when it bites you, that's the poison already goes into your hand. So that's why it is very, very dangerous, yeah? Don't do that, huh? In the wild, don't do that. And also, you will find that another amazing thing about this, do you know that humans don't have two tongues, right? Do you know that this little thing got two tongues? They have another small little tongue underneath the original tongue. Very tiny tongue, is a whitish color. Do you know what they use it for? They use the little tongue to clean the teeth. Amazing, isn't it? So you see all these small animals here, they have a lot of things. I am really running out of time. Come, let me show you another animal before we go further. That is our proboscis monkey. A unique one, and this is a female. How do I know it is a female? First of all, the nose is pointed and long and pointed, yeah, and the stomach is not really that big, it's not big, and also the little chili padi, we call it, is not there. That's why this is a female. Because if it is a male, you will find that the nose will be really big, it will be hanging down, and then you will have a very big tummy, plus chili padi is what? It is actually a sex organ, yeah? The penis will be standing up 24 hours and it's red color. That's why we gave it a nickname, the chili padi. So I will not talk much about it, but you will be finding it very amazing. This particular animal, I find that it should be more famous than our orangutan. A lot of people did not know that because way back in the 1960s, there's one cartoonist who draw a cartoon, what you call that, cartoon book is called it, yeah? If you know the adventures of Tintin, yeah, there's one that is called the Flight 714. It's about the kidnapping, yeah? And they landed on a place actually that is supposed to be Borneo. And they came across this orangutan. Yeah, so you should go and read that. Right? Download 714, Flight 714, yeah, to Sydney. You will find that it's very amazing because during the time in the 90s, and do you know that Tintin, that cartoon book, cartoon magazine, is actually translated into many different countries' languages. So they know, a lot of people know and have seen this proboscis monkey. So I'm not going to, because we are very lucky that we stay in Sabah, because even though if you are on the west coast or you go to the east coast, yeah, or even if you go all these places, you can actually, it is within our, what you call it, reach, you can say. You need to only travel about 1.5 to 2 hours. You can get to see the proboscis monkey. But the best time to watch them is in the evening, yeah, in the evening, because that's the time it will come back into at the riverside, yeah, or they will go to what you call that, or early in the morning, and they are only found at mangrove wetland areas, right? So look for a guide who can tell you more about this. Yeah, come on. Turtles. Do you know that Sabah parks, they have 9 Sabah parks, yeah, controlled by Sabah Parks under the Ministry of Tourism. And one of the parks is called the Turtle Island, which is actually located on the east coast, on Sandakan. That's my hometown, yeah, Sandakan. It takes you about 45 minutes to 1 hour boat ride to go to the Turtle Islands. And there are 3 islands. And these 3 islands are actually doing conservation for the turtles. There are 2 types of turtles that are very common here in Sabah. One is called the green turtle, which is the one here in the middle here. Yeah, and then they also have what we call it the hawksbill turtle, which is this one. Yeah. So what is the difference between the 2? It's called hawksbill. That's the reason why you will find that the beak, yeah, the beak of the turtle, it is like a hawk. That's why it is called a hawksbill turtle. Yeah. So the conservation on the Turtle Island is very strict. I will not touch on that at the moment, but you will find that every night, yeah, you are not more than 50 people are allowed to stay overnight on the island, yeah, in Selingan, because they wanted to protect the turtles. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but for example, the green turtle. What is green turtle? Why is it called green turtle? A lot of people, it doesn't show anything that is green. Yeah, but why is that called green turtle? Because the researchers, yeah, when they actually do the autopsy on that turtle, they found that the green turtle, the cartilage, yeah, inside the cartilage, it is a greenish color. So that's gave the name green turtle. Now turtles actually they can produce eggs from even 40 to 180. And one thing about them, they are the female, they are, what do you call that? They can have sex with different male turtle after one another because they have batches of eggs inside. The unfertilized eggs inside. So when they actually match with one turtle, right, it will actually fertilize one, and then they will have another batch and another batch. That's the reason why that when they are about 10 years old or so, whatsoever, when they're mature, they will actually produce eggs. And when they lay eggs different time. One batch, second batch, third batch, and they will be at least sometimes up to 180. Why 180? Because when the little turtles are actually hatched, when they go back into the sea, only 3% can remain alive. Only 3%. So it is very sad. It means to say if it is a 100 hatch, only 3 can become alive. So it is very sad. But then you will find that the turtles has I always call that seems they have a radar. Yeah. When they have grown bigger and they are matured, they will return to the place where they were born to lay their own eggs. It's like a radar. And that's the reason why our turtle island, you can say basically, nearly every night there will be turtles who will go on shore to lay their eggs. Because there's a lot of our turtles have grown up already on Selingan Island, on Gulisan, so that's why they will come back. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk more about animals anymore. We are going now down to the, quickly go down to the history section, history gallery, and I'm going to tell you more about history now. Come, let's go. See, this is a big green turtle. Just to show you, that's our rhino. At the moment, there are no records of any more rhino in Sabah already. Yeah? At the moment, no more. So it's sad. So that's why we say that we need to, we do need to protect and conserve. History, yeah, I love history. I think by now all of you will know. I'm not going to talk about from one era to another era, but I wanted to just highlight to you certain prominent person during this era. Okay, number one is that you need to know that we used to be, Sabah was known as the North Borneo before, and we used to be under the Brunei Sultanate, and some you can say that we are also somehow or other under the Sulu Sultanate. Well, there are still arguments about that. But anyway, you will find that during the era, we have maritime history, and we already told you that during those days, we have Chinese who came here to trade with the people around the natives here. So that's why there's a lot of confusion, yeah. But then later, we have the Brunei Sultanate and also the Sulu Sultanate, the Sulu of you can say the Sultan of Sulu and the Sultan of Brunei. They in fact gave a lease. Yeah, it was supposed to be to two guys. Yeah, one American and the other one an Austrian. But then later on, they have a company was called the British North Borneo Company, and later on it became a chartered company. That's the time that the era began to change. So we were under the British, in a way, a company's rule. So this is the one that we are talking about. Yeah. So this is under the British rule. That was right until 1881. In fact, they were already here in 1876. And then finally, because 1882, they become a chartered company. And they rule here until 1942, yeah, for the British North Borneo Chartered Company. So that's why we have quite a number of people here. I would like to just show forth, let me see, where is that person? This one, number 5, William Pryor. Yeah, number 5, William Pryor. He was known as the, I'm going to point out just very prominent person. So he is one of them that I would like to talk about because William Pryor was the founder of Sandakan. Yeah, he was the founder of Sandakan, and he was also the one who started what we call it the civil court. And that's the civil court that stopped the headhunting. Yeah, because with the civil court on, if you were headhunting, you are considered a murderer. Okay? And then he was also the one who started the residency. Residencies are the one that later on, our government, when we were independent, our government actually changed that into division. Yeah, division. That's why we are talking about, we have West Coast, we have East Coast, we have we have Sandakan, we have Tawau division. So those days it was actually known as residences, and it was this William Pryor who started that. But he died quite young, 50 over years old. Yeah, 50 over years old he died. But he has done a lot of things. Yeah, he was also the one who brought in coffee to plant in Sandakan at the Sipilok area. Yeah, so let's carry on. Before I say that, I just want you to show this particular, what you call that, a jacket, which was actually worn by the Bajau's people. With it has actually Quran inscripted on the jacket. It is worn by those followers of Mat Saleh, especially. Yeah, so when they go and fight, they believe that they are actually can be victorious. Yeah, so let's go. So that's Mat Saleh. The number 3, that is Mat Saleh. He was in fact wearing that same kind of a vest. It's actually not a jacket, but a vest. He was also wearing that, yeah. And he was also known as a warrior for them, yeah. And he was just like the Murud as well. He was very much against the British, and he invaded the British many times. Even went all over to Sandakan to fight against the British. And then finally, that is in the year 1897, he and his followers went over to Gaya Island and destroyed the whole settlement there and burned it down. Yeah, so that's the reason why the British finally really retaliated against him and killed him at Tampunan. Yeah, so that's Mat Saleh. And we do have a road that is named after him that's called Jalan Mat Saleh, by the way. And another prominent person, and that's the number 2. The number 2, that is called Albert Koch, sorry. no, Robert Koch. Albert Koch, yeah, Guo Yi Nan. So this is a hero for our people here in North Borneo in those days. Yeah, he was very young. He was in fact a Sarawakian. Yeah, not a Sabahan, but a Sarawakian. Now during the Second World War, he was very young at that age. Yeah, 20 plus only. And then he was actually a Chinese traditional doctor here in North Borneo. Yeah, in those days we were known as North Borneo. And then he was so angry with the Japanese. He went to Philippines, yeah, to be trained, as a lieutenant. So the American army there, they actually gave him the title lieutenant. And then when he came back from Philippines, he formed he got this volunteers, yeah, and volunteers to join him to form what was known then as Kinabalu guerrillas. So this guy was really amazing. And do you know that in those days at the beginning they don't even have any weapons? No guns, no pistol, nothing. So, but then they can took over Tuaran, Mengkata, and even Jesetan. Yeah? So in 1945, on the 10th of October, they begin to fight. Yeah? Double 10 we call it. They fight against the Japanese, and they won all the way Tuaran, Mengkata, right down to Jesetan, using what we call it matches. Parang, we call it. They used that to fight the Japanese when the Japanese were having firearms. Can you imagine that? And they managed to kill at least 60 of the Japanese soldiers. Then finally, because the Japanese wanted them to surrender, and they rounded up about 400 over villagers in the Santong area, and they told the Albert Kok, if you don't surrender, we're going to kill all these villagers. That's the reason why Albert Kok and his followers, all the Kinabalu guerrillas, they all surrender. It was really sad, really sad. And then on the 21st of January, 1946, Albert Kok together with 4 others, that's altogether 5 of them, were actually beheaded with a double sword, a double-edged sword. They were actually beheaded at a place that is called Batakas. They were beheaded. And altogether, how many were buried there? Because the others were killed by other guns, they were fired upon, and they had bayonet. 176 of them. They were buried right there in a big trench. It was a very sad story because he actually, some of those on that early morning when they were transported in the train to go to Badakas area, some of them, the prisoners really did not want to go, and they were hanging at the door. Their hands and arms were chopped off by the Japanese. It was very sad thing, because they don't want to come down from the train, so they were actually literally just chop their hands and their arms off. It was really sad. That's why our government, every year on the 21st of January, they will have a giving ceremony, laying ceremony in Batakas War Memorial. So it's very sad. Kinabalu guerrillas. When Albert Kok died, he was only 24 years old. Very sad. Now we have another hero here during the war. Very small little photo of him, but I want to say that he is also my my hero, and he is called Lieutenant Starwich. Tom Starwich. He was actually one of the Australian soldiers in the army, the Liberation Forces, who came here. And when he came to how he became a hero was because when they were advancing in Beaufort against the Japanese, what happened was that the Japanese actually had 2 positions. They have those machine gun position, and they were killing quite a number of the Australian soldiers. So this private Starwich, this Lieutenant Starwich, he actually one person handily, he actually moved forward, and gunned down the 2 machine guns over those people who were manning the machine guns over there. And the first time was 5 of them he killed, and the second time in another area he also killed another 7 of them. Him himself alone. That's the reason why he was the last person who was awarded, the last person alive, not post-war or whatever, but he was still alive and was the last person who got the Victoria Cross from the Queen for his heroic, heroic act. So he has a memorial that is in memory of him in Beaufort. So next time when you go to Beaufort, take a look at that. And then we have also another lady I wanted to talk about before I have to say goodbye. And this is the Agnes Kidd, another prominent person. I would say that she's the only one so far I know of who has actually gone through 3 eras. Why 3 eras? Because the British North Borneo Charter Company era, because she came here in those days with her husband. She was an American. The husband was a British. So the husband actually works in the forestry department. So she follows the husband to come over here, and she was actually an editor and she writes books. Yeah. So when she was here during that first era, she wrote a book that is called The Land Below the Wind. She borrowed that name from the Bajau people who call this place the Land Below the Wind. So she wrote that book and it became very famous. Yeah, that book was very famous. Then the second era was during the Second World War when the Japanese, actually fight, what you call it, the Japanese took over this place. They were interns. Yeah, they became prisoner of wars. And during that time, she began to write certain things and hide those things that she wrote. So after the war, she published the book. The book was published, and that is Tree Came Home. Yeah. Then the third era was under the British colonial times. Yeah. During that time, when she went back to for a certain period of time, she went back to U.S. and they went back to U.K. The Great Britain. Then later on, she came back again, and during that time, she wrote the third book, White Men Return. So altogether, she has 3 books. Yeah. If you were to look at this, White Men Return was actually became a movie. Yeah, it was filmed. You can actually download that on YouTube. Yeah, White Men Return by Agnes Kidd. For your information, her husband, because he was a conservator and a forestry department's officer. One of our rafflesia, the largest flower in the world, one of our rafflesia was actually named after her husband. Yeah, that is the Rafflesia kittii. Yeah, was named after her husband. Now, lastly, I want to show you one thing again, which is very important. Finally, because we have gone through all the eras, right? Sultanate era, and then we have the British North Borneo era. We have the Second World War. The Japanese were here. Then we become a British colony after the war. And then before we become independent, remember when I talk about the culture, we say that the Murut people were the ones who were very much against the outsiders to come in here because they have their leader even died during the British era. So that's the reason why when the idea was mooted to become part of Malaysia, to the formation of Malaysia, the Sundan brothers were very much against it. The Sundan brothers were Muruts because it says now we are getting our independence. Why do we want to let some people else from elsewhere to rule over us? So that's why finally when they agreed was because of these 3 main things. Yeah, that they asked to be inscribed inside our constitution. Yeah, and these 3 men was that it says that Kerajaan Malaysia Jamin. It means to say Malaysia government promise. Yeah, that's the old stone. It's freedom of religion in Malaysia. Secondly, is that our land will be governed by our own government here in Sabah, and then our traditions and culture will be respected by the Malaysian government. So this was very important. For those of you who do not know, this was erected, you can say, on an oath stone, and that stone is a megalith or a monolith. Yeah? For Muruts people and Kadazan Dusun people, that stone is very important to them. Yeah, normally when an oath was being between villages will actually been they promised that oath. When they make an oath, they will actually have the blood of the slave been actually smeared on the stone, so that no one is allowed to break the oath. So that's the reason why it was so important. And then finally, because when this was unveiled, that was in 1964, on the 31st of August 1964, we have a representative that is Tan Sri Magni Kawasangan, who is the Ministry of Communication, who came here to unveil that oath. Yeah. So that is the oath stone. And because of that, we become part of Malaysia, and the 20 points of the constitution that is inscribed in the Constitution of Malaysia was also based on that 3 things that was promised. Yeah, so that's why finally on the 16th of September 1963, we became part of Malaysia. And this is the first cabinet that we have. 16 September 1963. And who is G.S. Sundan? That's the person that is right on the right hand. The Murut guy. So I do respect those people who take the consideration of the local people. So that's why we become part of Malaysia until today. And thank you very much for your tour, for coming with me on this live tour in our Sabah State Museum. Thank you very much and have a good day.